What is up, y'all? This is Will, and this is the Restaurant Owners Uncorked podcast, brought to you by us here at ScheduleFly. Simple, web-based restaurant employee scheduling software backed by legendary customer service. Like you'll literally have my cell phone number, which is this cell phone right here, if you're watching. It's a flip phone. And also a low price point. Look, if you were on pencil and paper or Excel, we'll save you time, we'll save you headaches, we'll make your staff happy. Everybody will know what's going on 24/7, 365 on their laptop, on their iPhone, on their iPad, on whatever device they use. We will make life easier for you and your team if you're on pencil and paper or Excel. If you're on one of the other guys, look, we are not VC backed. We are not owned by private equity. So what that means is we're not trying to sell our business right now, and we're not raising prices to try to increase our top line. We're not cutting staff and customer service to try to increase our bottom line. We are just taking great care of our customers with simple software and, once again, legendary customer support. ScheduleFly.com. Check us out. ScheduleFly.com. 30-day free trial. You can call my cell phone. It is on 3 pages on the website, on the public-facing website. You'll find my personal cell phone on 3 pages. Call it. Let's wrap. Give me a text. Let's text. Would love to hear from you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. What a great episode we have here, as always. More coming soon. Y'all are awesome. We would appreciate a thumbs up, a rating, a comment, a star, or whatever you're on. Give us a rating. It would be really cool, and it'll get this content in front of more people. All right. Thank y'all. Appreciate you. See you. All right. We are live. I am so excited to have this opportunity. Do me a favor. Just introduce yourself.
First, thank you so much for this opportunity to be with you and in front of you at the community. Here is Veljko Pavicevic, Naples, Florida. Founded a SAILS restaurant a decade ago. Currently sitting here at the Butcher Private. Our private club, 6 concepts under one roof. Grateful for the dream team and the best community in the world.
Well, we've talked, so for those of you listening and watching, Veljko and I talked for a little while before we started recording here, and the amount of humility and gratitude that this man has is inspiring, and so I'm so excited to have this conversation. I want to start at the beginning because you are a wonderful example. I can already tell, and I can't wait to hear the whole story, but you're a wonderful example of somebody who grew up in another country, who has immigrated to this country, who has brought a great work ethic and a love for your profession and your community, and you're a wonderful success story, and that is what this country is all about, and it's amazing to have somebody to share that story. So I'm thrilled to hear. Normally I just start with, how did you get into hospitality? For you, I want to ask, how did you get to this country? And tell me about growing up in Montenegro and what made you decide to come here, and when you came here, and how that all went down. Let's start back at the beginning.
Yeah, so extremely lucky, age of 17. Naples High. I was 4th exchange student. I could have ended up any other state, any other town. I ended up in Naples, Florida. For anyone who is listening, Naples, Florida is a mecca of champion business Olympians. More CEOs and founders of the companies per capita than anywhere else in the world. Bentley, Naples sells more units, more volume than any other Bentley in the world. Those who like Italian sports cars a little bit more than English, Ferrari, Naples opened up 3 years ago and became number 1 by volume and number of the units around the world in the 2nd year.
Golly,
Anyone who likes real estate, You think most expensive home in that country is where? New York, maybe Chicago, San Francisco, LA, Hollywood. Everybody thinks these movie stars have the most money. Maybe it's Miami. It's not. It's Naples, Florida. $295 million. Growing up in Montenegro, we always watch these, American movies and all of this success and everything. And we think that the movie stars or sports stars are the ones who are the wealthy. They're actually rich. The wealthy are the founders or the owners of the teams and the enterprises. Those are the ones who live here.
Yep.
So I'm just so lucky and grateful, kid out of the village in Montenegro mountains that had wolves and bears as a pets, not by choice. Now in Naples, Florida.
Bears. Yeah. So tell me about Montenegro and the mountains. It must be a beautiful country.
Beautiful country in June, July, and August. Little bit in September. It starts raining. The rest of the year, very, very rugged. So I'm lucky and grateful for the tens of thousands that laid their lives in one of the most challenging environments. If you study history a little bit, Balkans and Montenegro have been constantly attacked from every single side. So tens of thousands lives were laid for me so I can be here. How lucky am I for my amazing ancestors?
Did you grow up with, you've got a really profound sense of gratitude. It's come up multiple times already. I've been talking to you for 15 minutes. Was this something that was instilled in you by your parents? Was this something that you...
100% God and the scars on my brain. I made so many mistakes in my life. So someone would say God, someone would say high power. Doesn't matter what you believe. I grew up, as an Orthodox Christian. So I'm Montenegrin Orthodox Christian, very, same like a Greek Orthodox, Serbian. It's exactly the same. And I think the high power needed to tenderize me so I'm ready that I can take the heavy cross. Because running successful business is not what it looks from the outside. Running successful business is a heavy cross.
Yes,
and if you are not ready to carry it and receive it, you crumble.
Yes.
So I'm so grateful and lucky for all the scars that the God or high power served me. So when this cross became heavier and heavier, I could take it. And to cherish that the cross is getting even heavier by day.
Right. Yes. That is a sign that God is continuing to work on you and continuing to mold you, and He's given you the ability to hold the heavier cross because of all the burden. Dude, I can relate to that 1,000%, my friend. And yes, running a business, being an entrepreneur, for all of you listening, whether it's in software or in restaurant, especially in restaurants, man, it is hard. It is really hard. Don't ever think that, like if you go down there to sales and you see Veljko out and he's walking around greeting guests and you think, oh, that looks awesome, man, that looks so cool. Yeah, it is, but it's like 1% of the time, and it is really hard. But, and this is why I love your industry so much, and I love doing this podcast so much, is that the people that figure out how to do it well and are successful at it, you are going to have different and often new challenges almost every single day. But overcoming those challenges, if you've got this kind of hospitality mindset and this hospitality gene or DNA, it is incredibly rewarding for you, because your focus, and I've already heard this again from you, you've talked about your team, is because you get reward and joy and fulfillment from helping others, from providing a great experience to your guests, from providing jobs to your team members and helping them grow, and from taking these challenges and turning these challenges into opportunities to grow and get better, and then better serve those around you. Am I thinking about this the right way?
Yes, yes. So interesting. You share in one of your podcasts. I listen. A lot of them. How when you were younger you had ego. Exactly same thing with me.
Yeah.
Exactly. Ego is the worst thing in men.
Yes, it is.
Any man that has an ego problem, he cannot go anywhere.
Yep. Yeah, it's ego and entitlement, man. It's like if you need to be confident, but you need to come at that confidence from a place of gratitude and humility, and in my case, and I think your case, from faith, but not from like I'm good and I and I got to tell you, I've made a whole lot of mistakes, and I've actually increased my true confidence because of making mistakes and getting through them and learning from them, so that my true inner confidence is much deeper than it ever has been, where when I was young, it was ego confidence. It was naive and fake, and probably more of a front than anything, because I didn't really know myself. And now that I really know myself, I've gained that. But yeah, you have to come at it with a lot of humility, no doubt about it, or you're going to be put through it.
Anyone who created a real success and built anything understands it's not about them.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right.
When I reached my mid-30s, something happened that really changed everything around me. It was not anymore about me winning or me getting better or me growing or what I can get for myself. It was exactly opposite. It gives me the highest level of joy when I see growth around me.
Yes.
It gives me the highest level of joy when I have an opportunity to give.
A couple things. I want to come back to that, because I want to ask what happened in your 30s, if there was an inciting moment. But I want to ask you this: you came here, so you came as a 17-year-old exchange student. Did you stay? Were you able to stay, or did you go back and then come again, or walk through that process?
I went back to study.
Okay.
And then there was an opportunity. I stayed in contact with the swimming coach and found out about the opportunity in New York City to be a swimming instructor. And then he came back for that. Within a week, I got promoted. In the same time, I had a dream and vision to save the money so I can go back and open up my own gym.
Okay.
So that was my first, first reason.
Yeah.
So I worked at the pool until 3 o'clock. By 3:30, I was working in a restaurant. This sort of happened by some divine way.
Yeah.
Because how would this kid that just arrived in New York be in the right place at the right time and get a job in maybe one of the 15 best, restaurants in New York City at that moment?
God, what restaurant was that?
It was Compass on corner 71st and Broadway. Back then it was really, really amazing place. It was a three-star New York Times. So really amazing place. So that's really where I started. I started on a really high level.
Gotcha.
What
did you do for them?
Worked 40 hours a week in the restaurant. When I got the job originally, I couldn't tell them that I have another job, because with transportation and everything in New York, nobody would think you would be able and capable to work in the evening.
Yeah.
So I worked 7 evenings and brunch on Sunday. On average, I was sleeping 4 hours a night.
And how old are you then? You were in your
I was 20.
20s?
I was 20.
Yeah. You were 20. Okay.
Yeah.
You can get away with that when you're 20, not when you're our age.
So I was just so lucky. I had this dream of saving as much money as possible. So, now even challenging. In New York City, within first 4 months being there, I saved $28,000.
Wow. Really?
I had in my
4
checking
months?
account in 4 months, $28,000. Then I had an option of going back, but on my lunch break, I like spending time with the pool manager. So he would bring me Wall Street Journal and New York Times, and instead of, wasting time on a lunch break, I was, reading these newspapers. So I found an ad that says, if you love luxury, if you love to travel, if you love excellence, call 1-800-RITZ.
Boom. Okay.
So after 7 interviews, I was not any good. I was thinking I'm no good, because if I'm good, why would they interview me 7 times? Finally, I found myself back in Naples. I walked through big doors, brass and marble everywhere. I had a 1 suit to my name. I acted confident, but my knees were shaking.
Oh, I love it. Wow.
And then imagine how lucky I was. This was the end of the month of September. Dining room at the Ritz Carlton Naples Beach Resort was opening October 1st.
Okay.
So they did not have any other place to place me except in a dining room. Dining room at the Ritz Carlton Naples Beach Resort was one of the 15 best restaurants in the country. Forbes 5-star, 5 diamond.
Okay.
So lucky.
And what year was this?
This was in 2000.
This is in 2000. Okay, got it. So you cut your chops there at the Ritz. Now
So
the Ritz.
lucky. So lucky. Not
Ritz
anywhere
is
in the Ritz. It could have been any Ritz.
Yeah.
I started in a flagship, and it could have been any restaurant or banquets or anything. They put me in a dining room.
Okay. You must have been excited, and I would imagine your first night you were pretty nervous.
I didn't even know, what I'm really getting myself into. I have to share with you.
Well, the Ritz is famous for hospitality, and the Ritz has trained so many great restaurant people and hotel people like yourself. So tell me a little bit about, I've talked to some people on here before. It's been a while. I've talked to some people who've been through the Ritz program. It's also very intense. It's really hard work, but you learn a ton. So tell me what you got out of your experience.
What's interesting is we're studying all these businesses in these companies. The most interesting guy in that group is Mr. Johnson. Think about it. Mr. Johnson was a restaurateur that in 1975 rolled. Had 50-something restaurants, rolled that out, and went traveling. Had a home in Naples, in Port Royal on the water. Spent a year traveling around Europe and staying in the best of the hotels. Had a vision and loved luxury product, luxury experience to say, we don't have a product like this in America. I'm going to bring it. And then did an impossible lift. Acquire a land in 1976, 1977, Naples on the beach. Naples was not even on a map.
Right, yeah. No.
So think about visionary like him goes into crazy mission to build something that looks like a castle. What originally was planned to be 2 years, it was 7 years of construction.
Oh, wow.
Swampland on the beach.
Yeah,
you can imagine what kind of challenges they were going through.
Yeah.
And had a vision to know that the best hotel group in America in that moment was Hyatt. And then because he was from Atlanta, he made relationships and recruited all the top executives out of that hotel. So we talk about food and beverage director was Horst Schulze. And then he had an Ed Staros in rooms division and like that. So he pretty much built the dream team and brought everybody here in Naples.
Okay.
What a
I did not know that story. Yeah, I didn't know that story.
Ritz Carlton started from Naples, Florida, and hence why even with the changes of 2000s and Mr. Marriott acquisition, Mr. Marriott loved this property. He stayed here all the time himself. So this was always the flagship of the company.
I did not know that. Okay.
Most revenue, food and beverage, most revenue, flagship always.
Right there in Naples. So you were in early. Okay, I got you. And then
I was just so lucky. I work
Yeah.
with closely with these founders, because
Well,
they were 15 years in. So all of them were still in the business. Transition and sell to Marriott has not happened yet. It was happening slowly, but it has not happened yet. So I work for the old school Ritz.
you say you're lucky, and yes, there's luck. I think that my formula that I think I'm fairly close on is that to be successful at something, you need a combination of three things to come together, and it can be in different percentages. But you need luck, you need timing, and you need hard work. And I mean, there's always a little bit of luck. Like sometimes the luck is in the timing. But so we all, I think anybody that says they've been very successful and had no luck, I politely disagree. But I do think, ironically, the most successful people, like yourself, talk a lot about luck, but I think there was a lot of hard work. I think you had great timing, and you worked really, really hard. I mean, dude, you saved $28,000 in 4 months. Like that's rare. That's hard work. It's 4 hours a night of sleep, crushing it. So that and then there's there's just the part of that luck may be what I would attribute and what you would attribute, not necessarily everybody listening, but to divine intervention, to God putting you where He wants you when He wants you there. So anyway, yes, you were lucky, but you earned it, my friend, for sure.
Thank you. What I like sharing with the next generation is what's so good when you're working so hard that you become obsessed and you have a tunnel vision. When you have a tunnel vision, you have focus, and you have clarity, and you have this discipline, or you're building it. So when the right things happen, you're there and you can grab them.
That's right.
And that becomes luck.
Yeah. Well, you make a lot of that luck. When you have that intense focus, and I talk to my kids about this. I'm like, I don't really care what you do. I want you to do something that you are going to just pursue relentlessly.
Yes.
Whatever that is. I always say, I mean, we live on a farm. We have a bunch of dogs. We throw them tennis balls and stuff like that and if you got a retriever dog and you throw that dog a ball, that dog is going to go after that ball all day until it collapses. Like you keep throwing it, it's going to keep going, and all it's going to focus on is that ball. So I always say, pursue it like a dog after a ball. Like it's just like everything you said, locked in, tunnel vision. There's nothing else going on. I'm going after that ball, and I'm going to keep going after that ball over and over and over until I just flop. Like if you have that, a lot of luck's going to come your way, a lot of timing's going to come your way, and everything else.
But it's so interesting. When you flop, what happens? We're the best ever made machine. So when you flop, what happens? You sleep for 4 hours, you get up, you're ready to go again.
That's right. That's exactly right.
You got another 20 hours.
Yeah, you got it. Okay, so you're there at the Ritz. You obviously learned so much about really high level, true, intentional and thoughtful and authentic hospitality, and just making experience all about the guest. How long were you there at the Ritz?
I was with the Ritz almost 9 years.
9 years.
So lucky that organization back then worked a lot on a lateral help. So you could work any outlet, you could work anywhere. And when I stepped into the management, that was also even more opportunities. So for me, 100 hours a week was really normal.
Okay.
By the time that I was running outlets, like I ran Gumbo Limbo, most revenue restaurant in a whole company, by the age of 23.
Really?
Yes. I ran it with the one supervisor.
Okay. That's
I
amazing.
love being present. And
Yeah.
I remember like it was yesterday. A couple of my good friend managers that were with me sharing the office, they tell me, why you work so hard? You didn't get the Ritz or this restaurant as an inheritance. You know, it's not yours. What's wrong
Yeah.
with you? And I never worked like it's not mine.
Well, listen, that's huge. You know, like if you can find employees, and I want to talk to you about that because that's hard. If you can find employees to treat something like it's their own,
But
you're
anyone
going you're
who
going to win.
wants to own it one day, they
Yeah.
need to think like that.
Yes.
Because
That's right.
it will not happen if you do not change yourself. People think one day I'm gonna drive a Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
You need to behave now like you already have that Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
So Rolls Royce
Yeah.
will happen.
That's right. That's
If you
right.
don't behave now as you own that restaurant, you will never own it.
Boom. Nailed it. Um, okay.
And
So,
legacy is built with every single interaction.
yes.
So it cannot be tomorrow I'm gonna come in on time because I want to be. No, if you want to be the one that owns restaurants and hotels, every single interaction you need to be 11 out of 10. How does that look like?
Yep.
You have no choice. It's not like I have a toothache, I have a headache, my cat was sneezing. No, that doesn't exist.
There's a lot more of that these days.
As
There's a
soon
lot of
as
that in our culture these
by
days.
the time that you open up your eyes, you're late.
Yeah.
Because before you open up your eyes, you need to have first thoughts I have to be inspirational. I am there. I own
Yes.
restaurants. I own hotels. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. You need to be there. And the moment when you work 20 hours a day and you go in the bed right before you're going to fall asleep, you need to have these thoughts again. I own restaurants. I own hotels. I'm the one. So this becomes, you use those 4 or 5 hours of sleep that you're reprogramming your subconscious.
Do
Let
you
me tell you, it works.
Oh, I completely agree with that. You're talking a lot about manifesting. Do you write these things down as well? Like do you put, because they say a lot of times like literally not even typing, but taking a pen and writing
Everything.
it. Yeah.
What I'm doing now, I'm with you, notepad. I write
Yep.
everything down. One of the 7 tools in our company that we have, notepad and a pen.
Yeah. Okay.
Everyone has to have this. There's no better way.
They have to have it for what reason? They write down
So what
just
happens? It's
thoughts,
an interesting
ideas.
thing. If you and I are speaking right now and I'm writing things down, it shows
Yeah.
you're paying attention. Number
Yeah.
one.
Oh yeah.
Number two, once I write something, texting is the one thing. I text to myself all day long. So I keep my, record of lots of things. I use my calendar, which let's speak more about that later. But I write things all the time.
Okay.
Because when I write it, even if I lose notepad, doesn't matter. It's still in my head. I remember
Yeah.
how I wrote it.
Right. Right.
Writing is the
Yes.
most powerful thing. And then rewriting it. If
Yes.
you can, once a week, take an hour and rewrite your notes of that week.
Rewrite your notes for that week because that helps.
Compress.
Yeah. Right.
Rewrite your notes once a week.
That's a great. I love that.
And what
I've never.
happens? And what happens? You will never rewrite those notes if you don't do one thing. You schedule yourself with yourself. Schedule is the most powerful tool.
Yeah.
I did not understand this until mid-30s. I mean, I was scheduling other people, never understood the power of how I need to run and control, that I'm resource. I'm more like a machine or a tool, a press.
Yeah.
And I need to schedule myself.
Yes.
So many great managers schedule everybody else, do not schedule themselves.
Do not schedule themselves.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm bad at that.
And that year has 52 weeks only.
Right. Yeah.
So you need to take an elephant, 52 weeks, 365 days, a whole year, and you need to chop it into chunks. And then at each day, you need to also block. Blocking. It's like, imagine that you have to do in a certain time, you're religious, and you have to go in a church or you have to pray. I don't, but what happens, I schedule myself. So it's like my church. I schedule myself that I have to do certain thing. And for me, I hold myself accountable that on time is late. So I have to arrive early.
Is that why you said this morning, like you run in the mornings, you said, so you've got like a 25-minute, that's what you're talking, you block 25, okay.
I block 20, 25 minutes. Takes me 20, 25 minutes to get ready. Always shave, always shower. That's it. That's that 1 hour I block.
Okay. Got it.
Religious. Wake up in the same time. All the time. Doesn't matter what happened. You got to be religious. Same time.
Right.
And I don't believe in this. I train 3 days a week. I do this 3 days a week. I cannot. For me, it does not work. Maybe there are better people, smarter people. For me, it's either 7 days or it's nothing.
All in. I got you.
Ever 7 days. I don't do this part-time.
Yeah.
Working 40 hours a week, that's a part-time.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, that's for sure.
They build this 40 hours a week to keep people employees. If anyone is 20, best advice I can ever give you is 40 hours a week is your main department. If you're working in a big organization, everyone always needs a lot of help, especially last 4 years. You know what you do? You build relationships with all the other managers, and then you have another 60 hours that you can work in overtime.
Yeah.
That's when you open up a bandwidth. Because what happened? They're paying you to go to school and train you. Every department has to train you and pay you to give them a certain productivity. What you're doing, you're leveraging to the full power.
Yeah.
Anyone who's going to university, it should work in the same time. University is only one little segment, but you have another 80 hours a week. I worked and I studied in the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, look, this is the work ethic that this country was built on, and it's a lot more rare these days. A lot more rare.
Let me tell you, anyone who's crying, I have lots of these kids around me, even adults, they're crying. This happens in this country, that happens in this country. Let me tell you, this is still the best country in the world. I traveled 69 countries, and I didn't go much in Africa, any of these countries. I only went in the good countries. And this is the best country in the world. If you want to succeed, if you want to be that lion in your family, you have more opportunities here than anywhere else.
100%.
But you need to show up. You cannot be a crying baby.
Yep. Love it, man.
You can cry when you lock your door of your bedroom, cry yourself to sleep, wake up in the morning and show up.
Yeah. I'll tell you my story, because you mentioned crying. I was a young man. I was probably 25, and we had co-founded this business. It was in a different industry, and our customers were banks, okay? But I didn't really have any customers yet, and I had been at it a while, and I thought I'd made the biggest mistake of my life. I had left a good job, or what I quote good job, like a steady job at a bank. My family, everybody was like, "What are you doing? Like, you don't know how to start a business. What in the world are you thinking leaving this job? You could do well at the bank and have a career there for decades, blah, blah." And, but I was determined, and, but you're starting a business and you have this ego and you're like, yeah, we're just going to go do this and we're going to be successful. 6-9 months in, I hadn't really sold anything. And I was at the time I was living in Burbank, California. My wife and I had just gotten married, and,
that's tough.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And, and then we still have, Blockbuster. This isn't like 2000. So there's still Blockbuster VHS tapes, right? And I'm sitting in a Blockbuster parking lot, and I had returned 2 videos, and I just broke down crying. I was like, I'm doing all the things I thought I was going to do. I'm not accomplishing any of them. I've not sold anything. I've probably made this terrible mistake. What am I doing? But I sat there and I said, all right, Will, right now, you got to decide. Are you going to give up on this, go with your tail tucked between your legs back to the bank, get a job back there, or are you going to go all in? And I mean all in, relentless, dog after a ball, obsessed, and do whatever it takes to make this thing successful. And that was, the choice I made. And from that moment, it was on. And, we sold that business 7 years later, and that's where Schedule Fly came from. All 5 of us here, we all worked at that business. And, but anyway,
so you had already one role by the age of 32.
Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations. Wow. That's huge, especially in those early of 2000s. Who was doing tech? Nobody.
Yeah. We had a, again, it was luck. It was timing. I mean, our customers were banks, and we sold the business in March of 2007. Like, beautiful. Imagine if we, trust me, the next few years were not good if banks were your customers. So we got very lucky on the timing.
So who bought you, private equity?
Dun & Bradstreet, public company.
Yes, amazing.
Yeah.
Did they retain any of you to stay with the company or no?
We had about 40 people when we sold the company, and we thought, lesson learned, like we're talking about hard lessons and ego and all this stuff, right? I mean, in my mind, I'm like, man, I'm 32 and I already had an exit. I'm like super smart. I know everything. And, we kind of got sold on, this is this big public company, and we had this bolt-on product, and they were like, you're going to be kind of like our want fries with that, like McDonald's, like want fries with that. And we're going to help you like accelerate your growth like crazy, and you'll be this satellite, and you'll keep your brand, and and that was what they sold us on. And I got to tell you, man, it wasn't long at all before we realized like that ain't going to happen. Like they're going to rip this thing apart, and apply to, like, they just got rid of all of the cool things about the business that made it really successful. And that was very clear that was happening. So we had an earn out, so I stuck around for 18 months. But over time, everybody kind of like scattered. And, it was one of those things again, though, where it sucked because we felt like all these people that believed in us were now working for this. I mean, it was not a good culture, right? And then, but what happened is people were like, we saw how these guys that don't really know what they're doing build a successful business. Maybe we could do this too. All these other businesses came out of that. Like all these cool, successful businesses, people went off and started their own things and took a lot of that we had applied there of, a really good, strong sales culture and a great customer service culture. And, and other businesses came from that, including Schedule Fly. So it worked out, in the end really well.
You were an inspiration for many others.
Yeah, and then but I got to tell you, like I had this, that was when I realized I had too much ego. I had success early, and I thought it was all because, yeah, man, I know what I'm doing.
It's me. I remember that.
Man. And I have learned a lot since then about, that is not the case. And I'm thankful for all the bad decisions and mistakes and everything else, I've made since. And like you said, those are those, it's like iron sharpens iron, right? Like you surround yourself with other people that have the right mentality, that have a growth mindset, that don't have ego, that push each other, and you learn and you make mistakes and you learn from those mistakes. And then those challenges become, where I say now, and I learned this, I've talked about this on the podcast before, but do you know who Jocko Willink is?
No.
So Jocko Willink is a retired Jocko, like literally. I mean, he looks like, if you imagine a guy named Jocko, who is a former Navy SEAL, and you envision in
Big
your
guy.
head like a cartoon
Huge.
character. That's
Yes.
what he looks like.
Wow.
And he's awesome. He's a
What's his
retired
last
Navy
name?
Willink, Willink. And
We'll look him up.
I'm going to send you, I want to get your contact info after this. I'm going to send you what I call the best 3 minutes on YouTube, and I've watched it over 100 times. It's Jocko Willink. He has a podcast, and during one of his podcasts, he was talking about how when he was a Navy SEAL commander, his guys knew that every time they brought a problem to him, his response was always one word: good. And he talks about how you have to have this mentality that every time there's this, whatever the problem is, the most insurmountable problem you can imagine has just happened, some black swan event we could have never planned for, your response has to be good. And you turn that into an opportunity. And that was what you were talking about, is reprogramming your mind. And like for young people,
I love that.
you've got to learn to turn every, you know, it's fight or flight, right? Or freeze. And you got to learn that when that happens, like this is awesome, because this is an opportunity. We're going to figure out how to get over this mountain. We're not going to run away from it. And that's going to make us even better. So thank you for the challenge.
Key on everything, positivity built with the growth mindset. So
Yes.
just the pure positivity doesn't work, but positivity built in a growth mindset. But please share with me, Schedule Fly, why you never took in private equity or investors or something? I mean, you started early on, you know, when
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone was after you.
Oh, they still are. Yeah. Well, I feel lucky that we didn't, because here's the thing. Like, we started in 2007 and we bootstrapped it, right? And it's, again, so much luck and timing and everything else. We're all like in our early 50s, all right? All five of us. We all at the time started having kids. We all had young kids, and like this thing was like we were early, so it was growing really well without us having to like take a lot of money and, you know, try. So we had like good balance. Like, I feel very fortunate. I had a lot of time to spend with my young children as they were growing, and that was like, you know, a nice blessing. During that time, you know, really over the last decade, money was free. I mean, we could have raised crazy amounts of money, right? Because VCs could get it for free.
For free.
And so they were pouring in money into all these other businesses. And here's the thing, you know, like one of our competitors was acquired by private equity in 2019, and private equity has a 3 to 5 year window to flip.
To flip, yeah.
It's now year 6. They can't get rid of it. It's a big problem. They're cutting prices. They're cutting customer service. It's like lots of runoff. So you got that going on. Then you've got a lot of other ones that raise money at, you know, like 10 to 12 times top line revenue, a multiple. These businesses are trading now at like 7 to 8 times, and they're raising prices. They're cutting staff, and, you know, it's like a big mess. And so everything becomes about the investors and the return and all that. It's not about the freaking customer. And so we're in this great position where we are obsessed with our product being simple and reliable and our customer service being unbelievable. Like, I can tell you right now confidently, our customer service is unmatched, not just in our world of like restaurant scheduling, but just restaurant software period. Like, our customer service is off the hook, and we are really, really proud of that. And we serve our customers, Veljko. We always looked at it like, what do our customers value? Our customers, being mostly, you know, like independent restaurants, they value having a very consistent, excellent, and reliable product. They value taking incredible care of their customers and that experience that those customers have. Okay, so we can do both of those things. And then what's the third thing that all of our customers do is all these independent restaurants, and you've already touched on this, they are, like all great owners, are focused on those around them, not themselves. They're focused on their team, they're focused on their guests, and they're focused on their community. And they give a lot of time, they give a lot of money, they give a lot of food. Like what happens out there right now, these LA fires or the floods up in North Carolina. Who are like some of the frontline people outside of the, our normal services? It's restaurant people. It's restaurant owners. They're giving time, they're giving money, they're giving food, they're donating. It's always this big commitment to their communities because they know, first of all, because that's their DNA, taking care of people, right? And they know that if they give to their community, that comes back in, great multiples. And they want their community to be successful. So we have always said we should, what can we give to our community? I mean, our community it's not a geographic community. It's the whole country, right? Well, we can give content that is educational and that is inspiring. And that's why we started this podcast. And, we've written 2 Restaurant Owners Uncorked books, and we've done films. And we've always felt like if we can give people an opportunity to share their story and give them a platform, and then we can educate and inspire other people that are in this industry, that's how we can give. So we spend a lot of time on it, and it's very rewarding, and hopefully it helps our community. But that's our story, man. So
So you pretty much you formed a syndicate of the restaurants. All of your customers are syndicated. You're the conduit.
Yeah, that's right.
I love it.
That's exactly right.
I love it.
Yeah. So
how else can we bring value to your community, to your club? Because you're pretty much Schedule Fly is like a club. So what do you think? What else they need that we can bring them more value? You and I, we shared about our backgrounds and about things. So what do you think? What are the subjects that are important to them? Because there's so many pillars around me, and I would love to shed a light. We don't have limitless time, but what do you think? What is the one pillar that's so important for every one of your customers that we can maybe shed a light so I can share with them what do we do, what practices we do? Maybe they can take some of this knowledge.
I would like to know, you've mentioned your team. You've said several times you're blessed to have this incredible team. But to build an incredible team takes great leadership and vision and wisdom and guidance. It is as hard as ever, in at least the years I've been doing this, to find people that have the willingness to put in the work, to treat this place like it's their own, and to give the guests the experience that we want to give them. Talk a little bit about how you've accomplished that and what advice you would give to somebody that's trying to really learn how to be a leader that inspires their team to do what they would do as an owner of the business.
Yes. So to start from the little bit more of the basics. A decade ago, Corinne, my wife and I started SAILS restaurant without any investors, without any bank loans.
It's amazing.
If I could go back and advise the younger version of myself, I would not build the revenue, I would buy the revenue.
Okay. Why is that?
We talk about the businesses and things, building revenue as the number one. Number two, number three, you can do whatever you want. But as a number one, the hardest thing, you have no reputation, you have no expertise, you have no processes, you have no team. You're starting from a desert floor.
Yeah.
And you're building something. The heaviest lift you can imagine of your lifetime.
Yeah.
So my advice number one is do not build revenue, buy revenue.
Okay.
And you and I were that age now that we see age of 70s and 80s. These individuals cannot run these businesses anymore. So if you're in a community and there's someone like that, and I'm sure there's going to be someone like that, what you have to do, You have to think like an analyst, private equity analyst. Make a spreadsheet. You can connect with me on a LinkedIn, message me. I'll share with you, my phone number. I'll explain you exactly what we do now, because what I do in Naples, I run a spreadsheet of all the restaurant owners, and I'm looking for a sweet spot. And when there's a sweet spot, what I do now, I connect with them, I make a relationship, and then I ask them, what does it take?
Got it.
It's not about the building revenue. It's about buying revenue.
Okay.
And I know someone will say, I don't have money, or I don't have this. It's not about money. It's about expertise. So the step before that, make sure that you can find the best of the best of the best teams. And then you join that team, doesn't matter what level. And you work like a dog, like you said, chase that ball 7 days a week and achieve the mastery. Because only in that moment, when you have mastered some part of the business, that you can go in some other business and you say, look at me, I can bring this and this and this, and let's do an exchange, sweat equity.
Okay. Yeah.
And if the right individual in their late 70s or 80s is there, and you show up and they don't have next generation, you know what they're going to do? They're going to receive you with an open arms.
Yeah.
And you know what you just did? You just got into the business with the $0.
Yeah. So sweat equity. You can
no
trade.
No one taught me this.
Yeah.
No one taught me this.
So you're coming in. So you're essentially paying them a revenue stream over time. It's owner financing, basically.
That's
Is that
it.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the holy grail. Now, what I did, because
Yeah.
I'm kid out of the village in Montenegro mountains, what do I know? I only know hard. Pound
Right.
that wall with my head until I don't break it.
Right.
Not what I recommend. But
Yeah.
what I did, we had to build it from the
Yeah.
scrap. So in that instance, what I recommend is starting small.
Okay.
But you cannot also start too small, because too small is going to be in the future not good. You're going to have to rebolt it. Imagine if you have a chainsaw engine, 1 cylinder, versus you have Bugatti, 12 cylinders.
Yeah. Okay.
Ultimately, your dream always has to be building a 12-cylinder Bugatti.
Yeah.
How do you go from 1 cylinder into the 12 cylinder? Extremely difficult.
Yeah.
So if you can find a good frame of the 4-cylinder,
Yeah.
and it's okay, starts with the 5 horsepower, 4-cylinder. But ultimately, your dream needs to be, how do you get that 4-cylinder into 1,000 horsepower? Formula One.
All right.
Formula One engine, 1.4 liter, 4-cylinder, 1,000 horsepower.
Okay.
The thing is small, but it's a beast.
So you've
Like a
got
sales restaurant. Started small, became a beast.
became a beast. Yeah.
Yes.
And you've got, so, I mean, it's very, look, now you've got this spreadsheet and you've got all these owners. And so you approach one, you've got all the credibility in the world. It's a no-brainer for them.
When I approach them, I share. I don't want it for me. I want it to continue your legacy.
Continue your legacy. Yeah.
Let's sign whatever document you want.
Yeah.
I don't want to even be seen until you don't pass away as the owner.
Okay.
Allow me to make you look like a rock star. You have no responsibilities.
That's
How
awesome.
does that look?
Sounds pretty good to me.
I want to be one day that guy.
Yeah.
Have no responsibilities in my late 70s, 80s, walk around and beautiful.
Yeah.
That's the dream of every single restaurateur. So think about it again, young version of you and I. It's not about us.
Yeah.
It's about what you can do for others.
What you can do for others. Yep.
That's the key.
That's the key. That's it, dude. I mean, that's totally it. And that's true in any business. But it's smart. Listen, those of you listening in and around Naples, or if you ever want to make your way to Naples one day, you got a candidate here in, 20, 30 years that, we'll be looking for somebody to do that. So,
Maybe faster.
Maybe faster.
Maybe faster, because my dream now is different. Now is, as you know, you and I, we get approached so much by the investors, with private equity and everything. Now I'm past that point, so we don't need any capital. So now the goal is, how can we find a mechanism and a tool that my team members that have been with us can start buying in on equity? That's my dream. Ultimately, I want to make a company employee-owned. That's my
Chip
dream.
Bear I did an episode about it, I don't know, it was probably a year and a half ago. Almost two, but Chip Bear out at Bojo's Pizza in Colorado, he started that thing, I think last year was their 50-year anniversary, and he started it in this small mining town, outside of Denver 50 years ago. I mean, like he slept on the floor in the restaurant because he didn't even have money to, pay rent for an apartment. And he slept in the floor in the kitchen for a while on a cot. And he built that thing over 50 years. And then on their 50th anniversary last year, he announced that he was, turning it into I think it's like an ESOP or whatever. And so he's like selling it to his employees. And he lives in Hawaii now. I mean, it's a cool, it's a great story. And he had these, people that have been with him forever that were very loyal to him, that have worked very hard. And it was a great opportunity for them. And it's really a great story.
There would not be any of these businesses if it's not for the dream team. I'm lucky and grateful to work with some of the best people on planet Earth.
Yeah.
Now, let's go back into your question. Your question was, what does it take? How do you do it? What does it? Everyone around me thinks it's because of the training. Now, let me tell you, our training, I was trained on 85 steps of service. Forbes 5-star, old Ritz Carlton school. Impeccable service. We took that from 85 to 124. So I'm all about the training. We run internally Hospitality Academy.
Yeah, okay.
Hospitality Academy, that's not just you passing the tests. It's about the points, and it's 4 levels academy. Level 1 has 12 points. Points are multiplied by number of the hours that you worked. So ultimately, if you're a crazy kid like me, you want to work 100 hours a week, you have a limitless earning potential. Because if you can educate yourself and pass the tests, you're climbing up into the 12 points. Think about 12 points working 12 hours. Unstoppable machine.
Yeah, got it.
So that's what we build. We build a capitalism within our business. So that's the component that you must have.
Yeah.
But more important component is your recruiting.
Okay.
Anyone who wants to build a great organizations are not built on hiring. They're built on recruiting.
How do you tell me more? How do you recruit effectively?
So question, your high level success and results in your team around you, is it a nurture or is it a nature? What do you think?
Wait, ask that again. Your high level.
If we analyze you're a high performance individual, you're a business owner, you're building businesses, you're grinding every day. Is it a nurture or is it a nature?
No.
What do you think? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I'd say it's both. I mean, although I look at my kids and I'd say there's a lot, they have very different natures. So I have a nature of intense focus, I believe. But I also was surrounded by a lot of people that worked really hard that inspired me. I don't know. I don't know. I should think about that more. I don't know the answer to that question, to be honest.
So next question I want to ask. Please share with me 3 individuals that work for you and where they're at now because of you.
3 individuals.
That work for you and where they're at now because of you.
I will say that 3 individuals that have worked for me over the years that have had success, I definitely nurtured them. And I nurtured them and taught them a lot, but again, I think their nature was to learn and try to absorb from others. So I don't know, man. This is something I've never really truly thought about, to be honest with you.
So just these are a few of so many questions that I have.
Yeah.
Because when I'm interviewing, I need to find out what's the core of that individual.
Yeah.
What does it make them tick?
Yeah.
And that's For anyone who wants to be an entrepreneur, that's number one most important, is ability to interview people and have this social skill to understand people.
Yeah.
Because it's either all of us, we work with facilities and a product, or with people. And people are the most important part.
Yeah.
I mean, for restaurants, location is tremendously important. So it's about, but again, how you going to get that location is about people. So number one, I advise every single individual that wants to be a restaurant owner or an entrepreneur is work on yourself, work on your people skills, work on interview skills, work on yourself. You are your number one highest level result.
Yeah.
Business is just a reflection of you.
Yeah, I think that one thing I know that when we were back at First Research, I was a terrible manager because I worked really, really hard, and I thought if I set the example that people would follow, like lead by example, but not everybody's wired the same way, and you have to understand each person and like how to push their buttons and get the best out of them. And I really sucked at it at First Research because I just thought, oh, well, you're smart and like you should just follow my lead, and people wouldn't, and I'd be like, I don't get it. And that's not how you motivate people.
But it's also, I believe, important when you're starting is to find a right fit. So you need to have an avatar of a team member, and you need to have an avatar of a customer.
Yeah.
Not everyone can be a team member for every organization. And not everyone is a customer for every product.
Amen. Oh, I definitely believe that. Yes. And you have to know that and be clear on that.
Know this.
Yeah.
And the most important thing of a founder, of someone who's starting out something, is a high level of clarity. And the individuals, again, that were not working super hard and have not mastered one thing, they cannot have a high level of clarity.
Yeah.
They cannot have a high level of discipline. They cannot have a high level of focus.
Yep. Yeah, having that clarity is super important. The best advice that I've ever gotten probably in business goes in line with a lot of what we've been talking about is, again, early days, First Research, we had this, it was like a desktop sales call prep for industry. So if you were a banker or an accountant or a commercial insurance broker, anybody that sold to multiple industries, B2B. So in other words, like if I'm a banker and I'm going to go meet with you, you're a restaurant owner, I need to understand how restaurants work. Like tell me what's going on in the restaurant industry. What are good questions I can ask? What are the risks that Veljko is thinking about every day and the challenges? And like I need to be able to be conversant and intelligent in that conversation so that you know that I'm not just there to sell a product, I'm there to try to solve your business problems. Well, if you sell to multiple industries, that's really hard to do. You can't be an expert in all these industries. So what we did is we said, here's what you need to know about these industries, plastics manufacturing, banking, commercial printing, whatever, in a really concise form, right? Like Cliff Notes for industry research. Well, okay. So when we started out, we kept thinking of all these applications, like, oh, people in this industry need it, and people in that industry need it, and people here need it, and people there need it. And my business partner's uncle sat us down. He was our advisor, and he's like, look, you guys started this because you knew you needed it as bankers, like you solved your own problem. Remember these words: focus, 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 dominate, dominate, dominate. I'll never forget that because he was right. And that's when we decided to focus 100% on banks, and we crushed it. And then after we crushed it with banks, we went to accounting and we crushed it there. And but we were so laser focused. It was all we did. Banks, banks, banks. And, but it gave us that clarity. Like that's what we do. And, we had.
So interesting. You're saying that because in restaurant sector, exactly the same thing. Restaurateur opens up something, listens to everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Suddenly it fails. You have to know who is your customer.
Who's your customer?
Customer is someone who you respect, who you trust, who inspires you. That needs to be your customer. That's exactly who is our customer. Our customer is a champion business Olympian. I love having him around. I have the best guest in the world.
I bet you do. I bet you, yeah, I bet you've met some amazing people. There you go. I love it. The customer avatar.
Let me go back to one more very important thing. When we
Yeah.
talk about the recruiting,
Yeah.
why it's so important not to hire but to recruit? Because you know exactly what individual you're looking for. Because
Yes.
that individual needs to go through the 4 points. Number one, it needs to be someone that you're going to respect.
Mm-hmm.
In my instance, my expectations are too high. I can only respect individuals of a high performance.
Yeah.
I love everyone else. I cannot respect in my sector anyone who is not high performance. They drive me crazy.
Yeah.
When I respect someone, you know what happens back? They respect me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
When I respect someone, they respect me. You know what happens next? I trust them.
Mm-hmm.
Trust is not given, it's earned.
Yes.
Once I trust them, they trust me. Once they trust me, I feel safe around them. Once I feel safe around them, they feel safe around me. We're humans, we're mammals. We love being safe.
Mm-hmm.
When they feel safe around me, I'm loyal to them.
Yeah.
Then they're loyal to me.
Yes.
Think about these 4. Grip.
Oh, there you go.
Unstoppable superpower.
Right. Amazing. I love that. Yeah, each of these 4 things by themselves, but
Loose. When they're together, superpower.
superpower. Oh, man. What an awesome conversation. I could talk to you all darn day, but I'm going to let you go because I've probably jumped into your block. We're probably like, you probably had this from 9 to 10 or something.
For you, I blocked 3 hours. I knew our conversation is going to be exciting because I've been prepped for this. I've been listening your podcast for such a long time. So I thank you for doing what you do. I thank you for making those videos on LinkedIn about your sprints. I'm not so good. I know I need to sprint more when I'm running, but it's so uncomfortable. So what I do, I find myself of just running. But when I see a video like you, I'm like, look at this guy. He's in a great shape. I need to do my sprints.
You know,
So thank you for being an inspiration for all of us.
Thank you for letting me, for indulging me. I really enjoy doing that. Here's the thing about sprints. Okay. I'm 50, and sprints are the most extreme thing you can put your body through. It is a full body movement, and it is extraordinarily taxing to do a 100% full speed sprint for 50 meters, 100 meters, whatever. All right. So there's an author named Nassim Taleb who I've read. He wrote The Black Swan. He wrote Anti-Fragile. And Anti-Fragile is a mindset I've really leaned into over the last decade, which is anything can be, any object can be in one of 3 conditions. It can be fragile. Like if I had a teacup right here and there was a hard floor and I dropped it, that teacup would break because it's fragile, right? This table that my laptop and my microphone are on is a wood table. It's hard. It's robust. All right, so you got fragile and you got robust. Robust is if I hit it, if I bang on it, it doesn't hurt it, but it also doesn't make it better. It's just there. All right, it's robust. Anti-fragile, which Nassim Taleb coined, is an object that, and this goes right back to what we have been talking about. When you put that object through a short period of acute stress and then give it rest afterwards, it's going to get better, right? So that can be lots of different things and lots of different domains, but our body, I mean, it's the same thing with if I go lift a very heavy weight and I give my body time to recuperate, it's going to come back stronger because it's going to expect, I got to be able to lift that weight. Well, sprints are my version of that with, I've always I don't want to, as I get older, I don't want to be saying, well, when I could do this when I was a kid, or I could do that when I was a kid. Like, I still do pull-ups and sprints because I've always done pull-ups and jumps. Like, I've always done it, and I always want to do it. Now, I'm not as fast as I used to be, but I think too many of us kind of let it, as we age, we say, well, I'm too old to sprint. No, you're not. No, you're not. Because I'm doing it and I'm 50, and I can tell you, you can. Now, I wouldn't say just go out and start sprinting if you haven't done it in a while. You got to build up to it. I've been building up for a long time. But here's my goal. You're allowed to laugh. It's okay. A lot of people laugh at me. But I'm 50, and my goal is that when I'm 90 years old, I set the 100-meter sprint world record for a 90-year-old. So I got 40 years to get ready for this thing, and that's my goal.
I love it. I love it.
That's what keeps me going, man.
I love it. You see also what's interesting, you set in every one of these things, you set your long-term goals.
Yeah.
And then along the way, what happens, you have fun. So I'm gonna sort of leave everyone with that couple of things. What's the most important in life? What do you want?
Yeah.
Most important in life is to want what you like.
Yes.
And one thing that in restaurant business, so many of us fail is forgetting that the food is our number one fuel.
Yes.
So it's better being hungry than eating the wrong food.
There you go. Love it. Love it.
So I just want to leave it with that. It's been such a pleasure. Mr. Brawley, you're such an inspiration. Thank you so much for allowing me to share my humble feelings and scars on my brain with your community. Anyone who is in the community who is watching this podcast, please add me and follow me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of the most powerful tools when you decide yourself that you want to stop hiring and start recruiting. Message me at any time. My cell phone number is readily available. It's on LinkedIn. Same like you, I share my phone number with everyone. If you text me, I will schedule the time. We will get on a call, and I will help you because I love seeing growth of others around me. And let's continue improving the restaurant industry. I believe it's one of the best sectors in the world. We work with happiness. We work with people. We work with food. We work with celebration. I'm lucky and grateful that I'm not sitting in the office all day long, that I have an opportunity 7 days a week that I can be in a service.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to LinkedIn. I'm going to get your cell phone. I'm going to text you a link to that Jocko Good video. So count on that.
Please.
This has been, dude, I got chill bumps right now. I mean, this has been an honor. I mean, I really mean that. I've literally got chill bumps. I'm so inspired and motivated and grateful to have this opportunity. If I were there, I'd give you a big old bear hug. I appreciate this a lot.
You're coming to Naples.
I got to do it, man.
You're bringing your wife, you're bringing the kids. Everyone is coming in Naples, and it will be my pleasure to invite you with my compliments for brunch at SAILS. 4 years in a row, one of the 100 best brunches in the country. SAILS restaurant 3 weeks ago announces one of the 100 best restaurants in America. So I would love to have you as my guest, and let's find the more ways how we can give more value and invest in your community.
You are the man. I appreciate you so much. Thank you very much. Stay tuned. You're going to get a text.
Have an amazing weekend. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
All right. See ya.